Hello everyone. So it's December of 2024. So it's after Christmas now. Hope you all have had a great Christmas, of course. Now we're getting towards the end of this year now. And yeah, I know. I mean, I'm honestly kind of surprised that we're nearly at the end of the year already. I swear this year actually flew. But yeah, so with us reaching the end of 2024 now, now looking back, I see that I still have not reviews a bunch of the movies I saw this year. I have reviews a lot of movies, but I still haven't reviews like every movie that I saw this year. Well, since we're getting towards that time now, I figured maybe it's time, that we look back, on some of the movies that I saw this year, and I think we shall start off by doing a worst of the year list. We do this every year. We count down our worst and best movies that we saw in the year. Well, mainly I did see a lot of good movies this year. I did see a few bad ones throughout the year as well. So now I decided I'm gonna get down my list of like some of the worst ones that I saw this year. So yeah, here we go, my list of the top 10 worst movies of 2024. Now, before we actually do start the list, I'm gonna just give some quick dishonorable mentions, just some other movies that I thought were pretty bad this year but managed to stay off the top 10 list. So dishonorable mentions are Red One, Joker Folie à Deux, Megalopolis, Mufasa the Lion King, Baghead, and Harold and the Purple Crayon. So yeah, those are just some quick dishonorable mentions right there. Thinking about like doing some videos, like I go back on some movies I didn't get to review and just give some kind of short reviews on some of them. So yeah, all those movies that I just mentioned, the ones that I didn't get to review, like Megalopolis, Red One, and Mufasa, I might do some short reviews of them in some like catch-up videos that I could make. But for now anyway, those 6 movies are gonna be my dishonorable mentions. So anyway, with those dishonorable mentions out of the way, now we're gonna get on to the main list of my top 10 worst of the year. Now, I think I've reviewed most of the movies on this list, but there will be one or two films that I didn't get a chance to review when I saw them. So yeah, there's going to be some I have reviewed and some that I haven't. But yeah, anyway, we'll get on to all those movies when I do. So anyway, that enough blabbering. Without further ado, let's get on to the main list. Here is my top 10 worst movies of 2024. Starting, of course, at number 10. Now, yeah, so this first movie on the list is a horror movie. I'm just gonna give a heads up. There's actually going to be a good bunch of horror movies on the list. Actually, I think most of the movies on the list are actually horror movies. Not all of them, but a good bunch of them. But anyway, so number 10 movie on the list. I will say there are three movies on this list that are from Blumhouse, and this first movie on the list is one of them. Yeah, it's safe to say that Blumhouse definitely has a very disappointing year this year. Speak No Evil aside, but yeah, they released three other movies in the years this year, including this one. And now out of the three bad Blumhouse movies that I saw in the cinema this year, I do think this is just slightly the least bad of the three now. I think I could be alone in this because I've seen plenty of people that say that they just outright hated this movie, and well, I wouldn't say I outright hated this film. I didn't like it at all. Yeah. So for my number 10 on the list is going to be Imaginary. Now, the concept for this one isn't all that bad. We have this woman who moves into her old childhood home, and her daughter comes across her old teddy bear from when she was a kid, and next thing the teddy bear starts making the young daughter do some kind of questionable things, and pretty soon it turns out that teddy bear is evil and stuff. Now I think it's pretty much safe to say that kind of does sound like kind of a similar concept that we've seen before and stuff. But yeah, now it ultimately the execution of the concept is quite poor. There's barely anything really all that scary in the movie, since they did make this a PG-13 in America. Well, I know it's a 15A here in Ireland, but yeah, there's nothing really all that scary in the movie, and also I think it just plays itself way too safe, and it doesn't really get you to care about these characters. Some of the acting's alright in it, but you just don't really care all about the characters that much, and as I mentioned, it's not very scary, and the plot is just kind of a mess. As I said, nothing really all that scary happens. You're not really able to get invested in the characters, and ultimately it just makes for a very generic horror film, and then the ending of it, then it just starts getting really wild and stuff, and yeah, the climax for this one is just really insane and stuff. It's not all bad. I'll admit Chauncey isn't actually too bad of a horror villain, but it's a shame that he's not in a better movie. Yeah, so overall, Imaginary was just a disappointing horror film from Blumhouse. Now getting on to number 9 on the list, and this is another movie from Blumhouse. Yeah, this film was actually the first movie that I saw in the cinema this year, and yeah, it definitely wasn't a great start to the year, to be fair. But yeah, anyway, number 9 we have Night Swim. Yeah, this one I have similar complaints to Imaginary with, how this one is just, again, it's another PG-13 horror movie. It's just so generic and stuff, and not really all that scary, and like the whole concept of it being like, a haunted swimming pool or something, like that could either be really like entertaining or just kind of really stupid and stuff. And unfortunately, this movie just goes for the more kind of stupid routes. Like the movie tries to be scary at times, but it just ends up failing. Like really, I just found this movie funny, if anything. And once again, I just couldn't really get all that invested in the main family. I just didn't really end up caring all that much, and like I didn't find the villain very scary in it either. Like, and ultimately, I just found like the plot of it to just be like a real mess with like not that many kills, and like as it's like with the magistrate, there wasn't really any kills in that movie. There's not a whole lot in this one either, and yeah, it just makes for just a very generic horror film. And like, I mean, there is some decent cinematography. Like some shots of the pool are pretty nice, and yeah, I will say the climax of this one is so bad that I actually found it kind of funny, honestly. But yeah, for the most part, Night Swim is just a pretty bad horror movie from Blumhouse, and yeah, and just another disappointing one. Number 8, we have another horror movie, but this time not from Blumhouse though. Yeah, we'll take a break from them until later on the list. But anyway, our number 8 movie, like this film, it looks kind of interesting from the trailers, but also like the actual movie itself is just honestly pretty bad. Yeah, at number 8 we have The Exorcism. Cause like the thing with this movie, I explained this when I reviewed the film. This movie was made like back in 2019, and like they didn't get time to finish the movie because of COVID. But then when Russell Crowe, who of course is the lead in this movie, he went and he did the movie The Pope's Exorcist. Then they went back and they got this movie up again and they finished it. Then they got it put out in cinemas this year. Yeah, honestly though, like this one just could have stayed buried, honestly, because yeah, for the most part, this movie's honestly kind of a mess. Like it has a decent concept with we have an actor who is starring in a demonic possession movie, but then while making the film, he actually gets possessed by a demon and stuff. Like it's a solid concept, but the execution of it is just so poor. Like the movie kind of tries to be scary at times, but like it's just not very effective, and you don't get all that invested in the characters and stuff. And like, not to mention the movie just randomly cuts during like certain scenes, and like you're not sure like how characters got in those scenes and like where we were in previous scenes. And also the movie just feels like another mess. Yeah, I was just not a fan of this one. After watching the movie, I actually felt so bad for ranting about The Pope's Exorcist last year, because this film is honestly way worse than that. Like, I actually went back and rewatched The Pope's Exorcist a few days before seeing this film, and well, not exactly a good film. I do like it better on second viewing, but this movie on the other hand though, like this was just not a very good film. Yeah, so The Exorcism is just yet another bad demonic possession movie, and yeah, not one really worth remembering. At number 7, we have a movie that is like kind of a reboot of an older movie that came out 30 years ago now this year, and like obviously we just did not need a reboot from that older movie. Yeah, at number 7 we have The Crow. Yeah, the original Crow movie from 1994. That movie's a classic. This film though is just nothing in comparison. Like, ultimately Bill Skarsgård does try his best, but he's no Brandon Lee, and like, admittedly there is one cool action scene that takes place in an opera house. It's a short scene, but it actually was kind of cool, but that was really the only good part in the film. Like, other than that, this movie was just really boring. It was paced really bad, and I just didn't care for like Eric and his relationship with Shelley in this one compared to the original, and like the villain also just really sucked, and yeah, like, I mean, some action at times isn't so bad as like the one in the Opera House, but like ultimately compared to the original, I just really didn't care for anything going on in this one. So yeah, overall, The Crow was just a bad film and an unnecessary reboot, and yeah, I'll definitely be sticking to the original with Brandon Lee. Now, coming in at number 6, now, this movie is actually a film which I didn't get to review when it came out, but I saw it, and this is another horror movie actually. Well, this one comes from Sony. But anyway, at number 6 we have Taro. Like, as I said, I didn't review this one when it came out, but I went to see it, and yeah, I have to say I did not like this one. Like, once again, it's a PG-13 horror movie. Like, there is kills in the movie, alright, but like, it's just so darkly shot, and the movie's just always cutting away whenever these kids are getting kills and stuff. But like, not to mention just the concept of this one with like, these kids are renting this like cabin or something, and they come across this old deck of tarot cards, and then they kind of start, reading off their horoscopes or something, and then one by one they all start dying in ways related to their horoscopes and stuff. Like, ultimately, this just isn't a movie where you care about any of the characters. Like, I didn't care about like a single character in this movie. Like, the only character who I got some kind of entertainment out of was Jacob Batalon's character, but even then, like, later on in the movie, he just does something really stupid, and yeah, didn't care for any of the characters in this one, and like, the acting also in this one was just nothing to write home about. Like, to be fair, it's not like I can blame these kid actors when they're just getting wasted on what's honestly just a really bad script, and like, yeah, the plot of this one is a mess, and like, ultimately it's just as generic as they come. Like, there are some kind of cool designs for some of these tarot monsters, but like we barely get to see them though due to how dark the movie is shot and stuff. So yeah, ultimately I just didn't like this one at all. Yeah, so Taro was just yet another generic horror film that came out this year, and yeah, it's not one worth remembering. Now we get on to the top five. At number five, we have yes another horror movie. I know. But this one now. This film is basically a new kind of movie in this franchise, but like really, this one just proves to be absolutely unnecessary. Number five, we have The Strangers Chapter 1. I did not get to review this one when it came out, but I did go to see it, and yeah, this one is just really bad. Like ultimately, this film, it's just the original Strangers movie. Like, it has very much a similar plot to the plot of the first Strangers movie, but compared to that film, this movie does not realize what made that first Strangers movie so suspenseful in the first place. Like, all throughout the movie, this main couple is just making like absolutely ridiculous decisions, and yeah, they're just so stupid. And not to mention, as I said, this movie does not understand what made the first Strangers film so scary, because like honestly, there's just a bunch of really like dumb and cheesy jump scares throughout the movie. As I said, there's also a lot of very stupid decisions being made by the main couple, and again, I just don't care for anything going on with it. It's literally just a retread of the plot of the first Strangers movie, so yeah, overall, I have to say I just did not like this one, and yeah, I know we're getting like two more chapters of this. It's basically kind of a new trilogy and stuff, and honestly, I'm not sure when chapters 2 or 3 are coming out. Because I think last month we got a trailer for chapter 2, but we currently have no idea when it's coming out, and like, yeah, maybe chapters 2 and 3 could improve upon this one, but they're gonna have to do a lot to win me over after this first chapter was just so bad. So yeah, overall, The Stranger Chapter 1 was just not a good movie. Yeah, now from here on out, these movies are just awful. At number 4, we have what is actually the last movie in the SSU. Yes, Sony have actually decided to just kind of pull this Spider-Man universe now, as I guess they just realised it wasn't working. So yeah, this movie actually only came out there 2 weeks ago as of me recording this. And I did go to see the movie there nearly 2 weeks ago now. And I have to say, after all the delays for this one, it was just not worth it. At number 4, we have Kraven the Hunter. Yeah, this one was just awful. I'm just gonna say it. It was awful. Like, I mean, the whole idea of this movie anyway, of turning Kraven the Hunter just into this like animal lover who has all these animal powers, it's just a really stupid idea anyway. Like, and like ultimately, it's just like a mess of a film. Like, the plot is just really bad. There's just a lot of plot holes all throughout this, and like, ultimately, it's so stupid, and it's such a bad script. Like, some of that action is alright, but like, even then, like, it's hard for you to enjoy the violence in this when they're just constantly, just cutting away from like all the bloody kills and stuff, and like, it's just a movie you're gonna be kind of bored by for the most part, and the cast is just wasted in this one because there's actually a good cast in this movie. Like, we have Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ariana DeBose, Fred Hetchinger, Christopher Abbott, Russell Crowe, but like, ultimately they're just stuck playing characters that, like, you just don't end up really caring all that much about, and like, they give honestly very wooden performances in this, which, to be fair, I can't even really blame a lot of these actors when they're just being given such a poor script. Yeah, like, I will admit I did get some ironic enjoyment out of Alessandro Nivola as the main villain of the movie, the Rhino. While the Rhino as a character just plain sucked, Alessandro Nivola was just so funny. Like, he knew that this was just a bad movie he was in, so he kind of had some fun with it, and I'll give it this, I actually did get enjoyment out of him playing the character, but yeah, overall, Kraven the Hunter was just an awful film, and like, yeah, after all the delays, it was just not worth that wait at all, and yeah, I'm honestly glad now that Sony have decided to just pull this universe all together. Like, come on, this was just a waste of time, honestly, this whole universe. Actually, speaking of which, at number 3 we have another movie from the SSU that also came out this year. Yeah, you already know what it is. Madame Web at number 3. Oh boy, what is there to be said about this one that hasn't been said already? I have similar complaints to Kraven the Hunter. Like, it's an awful plot, like, just so many stupid things going on in the film, and like, you don't care about the characters, the acting is kind of poor. The villain in this one just really sucked. Oh, he was just such a terrible villain, and like, yeah, this movie's just so awful that like, you just can't help but like, be really entertained by it just because of how awful it is, and like, yeah, ultimately it is just a really bad film. Yeah, I think pretty much everyone has kind of torn this one to shreds. It's no wonder that this movie was beyond most people's worst lists of the year. But for me, this one is actually number 3 on the list. It's not 1 or 2, because as awful as Madam Web is, there's still 2 other movies I saw this year that I thought were slightly worse. Now let's get on to them. At number 2, we have another movie that also, when it came out, a lot of people just tore this one to shreds, including myself when I saw it. Yeah, I think you might be able to guess what this one is. At number 2, we have Borderlands. When the trailer for this movie came out, like, I had a feeling this was gonna be a pretty bad movie, but oh boy, the actual film itself was even worse. Like, clearly, Lionsgate just absolutely ruins this one because, like, even though I've never played the original games myself, clearly this was, meant to be like a movie for the fans and stuff because of, how violent the games can be, but Lionsgate just turns it into this PG-13 movie and stuff, and yeah, it's no wonder that, like, the fans just ended up hating it, and so did the critics, and honestly, most people in general just did not like this movie, and yeah, I'm no exception. This movie is just awful. Like, as I said, the plot is just a mess, and like it's just so bad, and I don't like the characters, and like there are some good actors in the movie, but the characters that they're stuck playing are either really annoying or I just flat out don't care for them at all. Um, and like, yeah, they just have absolutely no chemistry with each other whatsoever. Like, and oh god, that Claptrap, he is without a doubt the worst comic relief character of the entire year. They actually found a way to make Jack Black, of all people, annoying as hell. But yeah, overall, Borderlands just absolutely sucked. Yeah, without a doubt, one of the worst of the year, and I feel bad for all the fans of this game that Lionsgate just tore this one to shreds. I'm really sorry to all of you. Um, but now we get on to the number one movie, and like this film, oh my god, this movie for me is without a doubt the number one worst film of the year. Yeah, when I went to see this one, I just knew this was gonna be it. This was gonna be my worst movie of the year. Yeah, even worse than Madam Web and Borderlands. If you saw my review for this one, you probably already know what it is. For me, the number one worst movie of 2024 is Afraid or Afraid. Oh my god. This movie, this fucking movie, oh my god, this was just terrible. Like, oh my god, this is without a doubt the worst movie Blumhouse gave us this year. Like, honestly, I think this could. I don't. I'd have to watch the other ones. This could be the worst movie I've ever seen from Blumhouse. I'm not kidding. Like, oh my god, it is just so bad. It's so bad. Like, clearly, after how successful Megan was, Blumhouse decided, yeah, we're gonna need another just AI one with Sony, and so they crapped out this, and yeah, it's not scary in the slightest. I do not care for the characters. The plot is just terrible. There's a bunch of cliches, and there's nothing scary in the slightest happening, and oh god, that climax in particular is just without a doubt the worst climax of the whole year, just how utterly just frustrating it all is. And yeah, like honestly, this movie is just so bad. It's so bad. Like, I mean, I don't like using this phrase a lot, but this actually feels like it was written by AI because it is just so terrible. If there's anything positive I can give the film, it's that John Cho and Savannah Rose Liu try their absolute hardest to elevate this movie, but ultimately they just couldn't save this film from just being an absolute mess. So yeah, overall, afraid or afraid, however the hell you pronounce it, without a doubt, the worst movie of 2024 for me. Yeah, absolutely terrible. So yeah, that was my top 10 worst movies of 2024. I hope you all enjoyed it. Stay tuned for my best of the year and also maybe a few kind of catch up reviews as well. But until then, guys, stay tuned for that. Hope you all doing well. Yeah, hope you all had a good Christmas and wish you a happy New Year. So, well, everyone, so yeah, that was my last video of 2024. Yeah, I just want to say, I hope you all had a good year, a good 2024, and yeah, again, I know I'm sorry I didn't get to put up all the reviews for every movie I saw this year, but I'm gonna be doing my best list and some catch up reviews and some other reviews for new films out. So you all that to look forward to. So until then, take care, everyone. I wish you all a happy new year. I hope you enjoy 2024, and let's hope 2025 is a good one. So until then, everyone, take care. I'll see you on the next video, and with that, bye guys.